was sort of talking about it a lot in the, in the process of putting these ideas together. Like, how can we show some substantial material without it just all being jokes and laughs, So, sorry if that didn't work for you.
No. Wait, why did you think that didn't work for them?
It might not. I don't know. People could have been like, if there was a...
Oh, you mean all the people in general? I thought you meant the person asked the question. I was like, no, they didn't seem upset.
No, I meant like people. They're like, there's going to be like more of them like in a forest, or like, I thought there was going to be dancing.
Did you guys think there was going to be dancing? Yeah, definitely is. Disappointment.
Okay, another question. You got your hand up. You were ready. Go.
Yeah, I just wanted to know if, looking back, like on any of your videos, is there any that you feel like you would have changed, or they're kind of dorky?
Like music videos?
Yeah, music videos, like hair, or like the whole... I'm saying.
Yeah. No. You're reading.
Like, silly shit. Like, is there anything you guys would like to change?
Oh my God! Don't even get to start. We'll be here till tomorrow. Yeah. No, that's a really good. You know what? In 1991, I wish that I didn't have long hair past my bum and wear those. There's not just one, sadly. There's a million, but it's a good question because it's actually something we've been talking about a lot. We joke around that we want to erase the internet, like just reset it for so that we can just start fresh. Like, it's unfair that every time I date some, like over the last 10 years, every time I dated someone new or I make a new friend, there's inevitably the day where they call me and I'm like, hello, and I know who it is, and I'm like, hello, are you there? I can't hear you. And then there's like the gulp. I can hear they're hysterically laughing, and I'm like, what are you laughing at? And they're like, I just Googled you, and I'm like, fuck off. Everybody wore Birkenstocks in the 90s. Everybody cuts their hair really short and spikes it when they come out, and then they go through the long. It happens. Calm down. So there's a lot of things in our music videos specifically. I guess if I had to pick on one, the one that I'm most embarrassed by, I mean, most of them I think are actually pretty great. The one I'm most embarrassed by, is the video for the first. If you haven't seen it, it's like all the things I just talked about. We're wearing sandals in the video, docks, jeans with inserts in them, spiky hair, puffy vests. I mean, we may as well have just wrapped ourselves in fucking gay flag. I mean, it's crazy. It's and I'm not. Don't get me wrong, don't put it up on YouTube. I don't want any letters about this. I'm not ashamed of being gay, okay? We're gay, yay, we're gay. I'm not upset about it. It's whatever. I'm just saying that, there were a lot of years where we had a lot of teary nights where we're like, why can't we get ahead? How come only girls come to our shows? I'll tell you why. The first, watch that video. Okay. At the back, you have, what looks like a cardigan and then a white shirt underneath, maybe? It's like a guessing game, how good Tegan and Sara's vision is.
Hi.
Hi.
There was something that I wanted to tell you, and I have a question. I actually rode my bike across the country, and when we got into Canada, I told everyone on my team that it was Tegan and Sara land, and then I started singing all your songs on the mic, and it was just, I thought that every Canadian I met was automatically I was like, oh, you're Canadian, so you know Tegan and Sara.
And they were like, yeah, of course we do. Probably not.
That was really cool, and I wanted to let you know that.
Thank you. That's very cool. Congratulations. What a feat, crossing the country. Were you doing it for a specific reason?
For cancer research.
Oh, very cool. Very awesome.
One day you could be doing it because the Walking Dead and everyone's a zombie. And you just get across the country zipping around on your bike, but there's no more coal or oil, so you can okay.
Please don't let Sara take your moment.
My question is, I can tell from reading your blog and your Twitter and stuff what kind of things are important to you guys because you express your views and your opinions. But I want to hear in your own words, what is your philosophy on treating others, how to treat others?
In general. There's the finish the sentence. Right, continue.
For example, for me it's really important, kindness is really important and being open is really important, but depending on what you choose to tell everyone, that kind of tells, what is really important to you. So that's what I'm wondering, is if you could choose a few things to talk about that you want everyone to know.
What is our moral fabric made out of? Not cotton. That was pretty good. You don't want to do that one?
Oh,
Sara's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Let's see, there's 10 of them. Don't lie, don't steal, don't sleep with your neighbor's wife, don't murder anyone.
I think that what I think I understand from your question, I'm still imagining you on your bike across the country. That's great. And I'm going to also write a letter to the Prime Minister. I think Tegan and Sara is way more catchy than Canada. You know, Sara and I were raised by a very interesting and very dynamic and quirky family, and my mother specifically, you know, obviously is a massive influence to Sara and I. She's a feminist, and she's also a social worker, and she's worked, you know, primarily with teenage girls most of our lives, and we were raised to always, you know, think of ourselves as strong and beautiful and smart and capable, and, you know, we were told we could do anything we wanted to do, and we were told that we were, you know, we were loved even when they struggled with us coming out initially, and when they struggled with us not going to university, and, you know, there's been
When they struggled with us being little bitches.
Yeah, they struggled with a lot of things. My mom struggled when we cut all our beautiful ringleted hair off and insisted on having a haircut like my dad when we were 5. And but we were raised to say, you know, what we believed in, and we were always leaders and not followers. And, you know, we're friends with our friends from junior high still, and we have a wonderful family around us, and a group of people who've worked with us for, you know, nearly a decade. So, you know, these are things that I think are at our core, and we try to share with the world, and we try to be good people and positive and speak our minds, and we're always open for debate and discussion. And specifically, like, politically, I mean, obviously we talk about gay rights a lot because we're gay, but women's rights are super important to us, and, you know, we fundraise for, like, I mean, so many organizations over the last 10 years, it would be ridiculous to start naming them now, but we're very politically and socially active, for sure. And I think we should all be that. And I love the internet and iPads and Kindles and iPhones and virtual reality and movie theaters and all the rest of it, but I think that we all need to put those pieces of technology down, and we need to talk to each other more, and we need to get involved. And I think that a lot of the things that are happening in the world right now that are really negative are happening because we are so dissociative, and we're so distracted, and we don't want to focus on anything negative. We just want to constantly feed ourselves things that make us feel good, which is okay, but I think we need each other, and I think that we're missing a lot of community and a lot of love, and that's probably Sara and I's biggest thing right now, is how to connect with human beings again, and please put your iPads down, and, you know, like, all that. So anyway, Sara suggested a great book recently called You Are Not a Gadget, and I would highly recommend it to all of you, and it'd be a good start. So that's that. Thank you.
You can get it on your iPad, though.
You can, totally. I read it on my iPad.
Yes,
So.
it is compatible. Okay.
Hi, so my coming out was, like, horrifically bad, and I imagine yours wasn't as bad, but I actually don't know, like, how did y'all come out, and how was that like being somewhat in the spotlight and being performers?
Well, my mom started getting cramps about 11:50 in the evening, and then, you know, she went to the hospital. I think your water broke at, what, 2 a.m.? And then we popped out really fast, 8 minutes apart, and it was a Saturday morning, and my mom had 2 babies, and
Our mom's pregnancy was like one step away from that pregnancy. Anyway, get it. I'm with you. I'm going to talk to you in a second. Our mom's pregnancy was like one step away from being that pregnancy where that person's like, I was in Walmart, and I was just like, I just had like cramp. It was like
I was buying a stroller anyway. I just put him in the stroller. It was done.
I just like leaned over to pick up the stroller, and then there was a fucking baby laying on
My
it.
mom's like, you have to have babies. It's so fun. It won't be hard. It's great. I loved it. You were so little. And I'm like, okay, what you're doing right now is you're setting up the next scene in the movie where I have a 12-pound baby and I never, ever can use my bladder ever again. And I wear a diaper, and I can't ever look at myself in the mirror again. And
Easy. Okay.
they don't tell you what happens to your body. You know what? I'll tell you exactly how you can stop teenagers from getting pregnant. Show them a video of a woman having a baby. That's how, okay? Fucking traumatizing.
And not the angle where you only see the husband or wife or aunt and uncle next to the girl screaming hysterically and crying. Like, just right.
What's on the table when the baby's coming out?
Anyways, okay, so here's the thing about coming out.
Babies are beautiful, though. And
Babies are beautiful. Okay,
let's all get pregnant right now.
All that she wants is another baby. Okay.
Coming out.
Coming out is a really complicated thing. I think it's not necessarily easy for anyone. I think it's on the spectrum of easy to hard. Yes, ours wasn't completely traumatizing. I certainly never felt in fear of talking about it. But I will say this: we were born in 1980. We came out in the 90s, and when I was going through puberty and thinking about like things that people think about when they're going through puberty, I knew pretty early on that I wasn't thinking about things that people my age group were thinking about, like, girls. I was not thinking about boys. I was thinking about boys, but then I was thinking about, like, he's awesome, I guess he could be my boyfriend, you know, like, he totally likes video games or whatever. I mean, it was sort of like a guy thinking, like, yeah, I could totally partner with this guy, he's fine, you know, whatever, but it was confusing. It was a confusing time, and I had no idea about what any of that meant. And it was a different time, and there was no internet, and as much as my parents were, like, open-minded and talked about things with us, and definitely talked about gay stuff with us, I had no idea. I had no way to visualize the future. I had never seen any images of sexuality in the varying different degrees of sexuality or gender. I didn't have a future. I didn't even know what that was going to look like, and we just sort of like rolled with it because that's what you do. And I think that as
like the medieval times.
It was like medieval times, you know. It was. It was like there was like
you rolled with it.
There was cave drawings that looked vaguely like two women together, but I wasn't sure yet. But,
that lady's holding the other lady cave person's hand.
No, but it was really really hard, and you know, it's really tough, and it breaks my heart to think that any person has to go through any kind of identity crisis or questioning things or you know, like repressing things. Like it makes me so sad, and I wish it was as simple as saying this, but I know that whatever we have faced, whatever homophobia or whatever awkwardness or whatever sadness or whatever, the fact is that on the other side of it, I have had wonderful relationships. I have a wonderful relationship. I feel happy. I feel loved. I feel all the things that people should feel. And whatever the other shit that came along with that, it was worth it to live a transparent, open, out lifestyle. And I think that ultimately, I think that if we're living the life that we're supposed to live and that feels very natural to us, I think that we're better. You know, I think that people do better and do more in their life and are better to other people when they're living that life. And so, you know, it's really hard. I don't always say that people should come out. I have lots of closeted friends. We know a lot of people in the media, and it's very difficult. It's very difficult to live an out lifestyle when there are so many people looking in on your business, and it's complicated. It's really complicated. But what I hope is that even if you are coming out and it's really difficult, there are so many people who can support you and who are your friends and who love you and care about you. And sometimes, you know, the people that make things hard for you, you know, they probably would have been giant assholes anyway. You know, like even if you weren't gay, probably. Like, truthfully, they probably would have been. But you could just think like that. I mean, I don't know, but it's but it is sort of like it is a different time, and I feel like growing up now would be very complicated. But I think that the internet has helped, and you know, we got through it, and people get through it, and you know, I hope it's better now for you. You know. It's not. She's like, no.
She was like, yeah, it is.
She's like, yeah. It's
I just meant, what'd your first girlfriend look like? Okay. Okay, we only have time for a couple more. I'm gonna take someone up there.